All right guys, welcome to lesson number 2 of module 1. So what you're gonna need today for your math lesson is your math binder. And if I moved my sticky note over, it should just be ready to go on the homework for lesson 2. You also are going to need your whiteboard today. So I know you all have your whiteboard, I sent them home. So you're gonna need your whiteboard because I don't want you to write it out on your paper. There's not enough room to write a place value chart every time. So then you only have to write it the one time and you can just erase your dots for when we move things over. So I'll tell you which part you're gonna need the whiteboard versus your notes. So right now we're gonna start with just our notes. So make sure you have that out and the pencil ready to go. Remember, you only have to do the problems on the homework that we're doing together. If you wanna use them as bonus problems for things that we didn't get to, you're more than welcome to do that. Don't forget, after you're done watching this video, move a check mark over on your checklist and then move on to the Zern lesson. You're also gonna need your Zern notes for that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So the biggest thing that we've learned so far is one, how to fill out a place value chart. So let's go ahead and do that now on that first problem there. So I'm on my sheet and then I want to fill out my place value chart. So I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to start on this side and I'm going to work my way over. So I'm going to start with ones, tens, hundreds, thousands. Now this is where we ended yesterday. We didn't finish the rest of it, so we're gonna go ahead and do that now. So thousands, after thousands is 10,000s. And I just like to write 10th, 10,000s. 10,000s, after 10,000s is 100,000. So I write 100,000, just to abbreviate. 100,000, and then my last one, does anybody know? It's millions, okay? So then I'm gonna write millions here. Ooh, that's a lot. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is same thing we did yesterday. I wanna look what's up on my problem. So it has 10 times 4,000. So I'm gonna start at the 4,000 spot and I'm gonna write 4 dots. So I'm gonna go to my thousands, I'm gonna write 4 dots in my thousands place. Go ahead and do that now. Remember, if I'm going too fast, all you have to do is press pause and then just restart as soon as you're caught back up. So, and we all work at different paces, so it's hard for me to like slow down and when I don't see you in person. So just take your time, pause as many times as you need to if you feel like you're falling behind. Okay, so I have my 4,000s there, and then I'm gonna multiply that by 10. So that's gonna mean I'm gonna have 10 in each of these columns. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So after you're finished with that, you should have 10 or 4 columns of 10. And like we learned yesterday, we can't leave those there. That's too many in that column. So I need to move them over. Anytime I have a group of 10, I'm going to move them to the next column over. So I'm going to take this group of 10 and move it over. Take this group of 10, move it over. This group of 10, move it over. This group of 10, move it over. So now I don't have any left in my thousands place, but how many 10,000s do I have? 4, right? So I'm gonna write a 4 down here. And then I'm gonna write a 0 for my thousands place, a 0 for my hundreds place, a 0 for my tens place, and a 0 for my ones place, because I don't have anything in those spots. So now I wanna put a comma too, because I didn't do commas yesterday, I forgot. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the comma in there. The comma always goes after groups of 3. So I have 1, 2, 3, comma should go there. 1, 2, 3, comma should go there. So in my number down here, my comma should go in between the thousands and the hundreds. So that's my comma. So 10 times 4,000 is the same as, if I added all these up, 40,000s or 40,000s. 4,000s. Or 4 10,000s, right? So that'd be 40,000s. So that's a lot of thousands. Okay, so and that number right here should be the same as right here. Cool, so go ahead and check your work. Make sure you have all that down. And the biggest thing to remember is that if I have 10 in a column, I gotta move them over. So the next problem we're gonna do is division. So it's the opposite of that. Okay, so I'm going to erase my page and I'm going to move it down. So you should be on B now. 4 thousandths divided by 10 is this problem. But before I even do anything, what do I have to do? I have to fill out my place value chart. So here we go again. You can do this along with me. Ready? Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, and then millions. And I'm going to go ahead and put my commas in. Comma after those three, comma after those three. All right, so this problem is 4 thousandths divided by 10. So we're going the opposite way down. Instead of moving them over and getting more, we're going to divide and get less. So I'm going to start with 4 thousandths. I'm going to write 4 thousandths on my place value chart. So find the thousands place and go ahead and write 4 dots there. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have my 4 thousandths. Now to divide them, I have to do the opposite of what I just did. So what I did before was take a group of 10 and make it into the other side. But this time I'm going to take the 1 and make it into 10. So this one is going to give me 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to take this 1,000 and make it 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Take this 1,000 and make it 10. This 1,000 and make it 10. Go ahead and do that now. If you remember, if you're behind, pause the screen and go ahead and catch up. So what I've done is they're the same thing, right? 4 thousandths is the same as 40 hundredths, right? I just couldn't leave it like that to begin with. So what I'm going to do now to do the divide part is I'm going to group them up into groups of 10. Here's 1, here's 1, here's 1, here's 1. So how many groups do I have? 4. I have 4 hundredths. And then I have 0 tens and 0 ones. So 4,000 divided by 10 is going to give me 400. Or from before, it was 40 hundredths. And that equals 400. Okay, so the biggest thing there is that we're just doing the opposite of what we did in the first one because it said divide. Okay, all right, so that is, we're going to now move on. This is still on your same page. Yep, on your same page. But this time I want you to get out your whiteboard. On your whiteboard, you're going to go ahead and make your own place value chart on your whiteboard. So you have your marker and your whiteboard, and you're gonna make your columns like this, just on your paper. And I'm gonna do it on the screen because it's gonna be easier, but I want you to do it on here so just so you don't have to write it out every single time. Okay, so you have your place value chart and go ahead and label it. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and label mine up here. Yours should look like mine, just on your whiteboard on this thing. Cool. So I have my ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, millions. And you're probably thinking, Miss McCarthy, why are you making me write this so much? So it's so you remember it, so that this is engraved in your brain, because eventually we're gonna get to rounding and comparing, and you're gonna need to know your place values off the top of your head. So we're gonna write them a bunch to begin with. So I'm only making you write them one time now on your whiteboard. So go ahead and do that. And now we're gonna look at these down here, and I want to write them in unit form and standard form. Standard form is what you normally think of math problems to look like. just straight up 451 is the standard form. Okay, the unit form is when we write the place value with it. So, I'm gonna go ahead and erase that. And I'm gonna write again. And we're going to go ahead and solve. So 10 times 3 tens. Now, what do you like to think about saying here? Instead of saying tens, replace that with apples. What is 10 times 3 apples? 10 times 3 apples. Think about that. So what we're going to do is we're going to write it on our board. Okay, so go ahead and write on your board 3 tens, and we'll see if we've got it correct. 3 tens, and I'm going to multiply that by 10. So like we practiced yesterday, that means we're just pretty much just moving it over a place value, but we need to show our work. So I have 3 tens, and I'm going to multiply it by 10. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So on your whiteboard, you can be putting little dots there. Now I like to keep mine nice and neat so that I don't have to count every time. I just look at the column. It makes it faster. So go ahead and do that. You should have, now if I look at this, I should have 30 tens, right? There's 30 in this column. So on unit form, that's the same as 30 tens. So on your paper now, I want you to write 30 tens. But I can't leave it like that. That's too many in a column, so I gotta move some over. So I'm gonna move them over. We're gonna find out what 30 tens is the same as. Groups of 10, move them over. Group of 10, move them over. Oh my goodness. How many hundreds do I have? 3 hundreds. Okay, so these are gone now, and there's no ones. So I have 300, which is the same as 300. So my standard form is 300. For unit form, I would also accept 300s there. Either one, because they're the same. Okay, so I'm gonna erase this now. And just like you should be able to erase on your screen, or on your, not your screen, your whiteboard, you shouldn't have to rewrite all this now. All you had to erase were the dots, okay? So we're gonna do the next one. We have 5 hundreds times 10. So I'm gonna go to my hundreds place, and I'm gonna multiply that by 10. So my hundreds place here, and we're gonna put 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So think about it in your head. If I have 5 hundreds, and I multiply them by 10, if you know the pattern, we might be able to see how many thousands I'm gonna have, okay? So let's go ahead and multiply that by 10. So each one gets 9 extra on there to give it 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That took a lot. Let's go ahead and finish up. Again, pause the screen if you need to. But I multiplied each of those 500s by 10, and I'm going to get 50 hundreds. So I'm going to write that on my unit form page. So on your math book, swap your marker for your pencil and write 50 hundreds. Okay, so that 50 hundreds, I can't leave it like that. There's way too many in that column. Remember, you can't have more than 9, so once it gets to 10, I gotta move them over. So we gotta get those groups of 10. Get a group of 10 here, move it over. Get a group of 10 here, move it over. 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 Oh my goodness. And look at that. How many thousands do we have? We have 5, right? You have 5 thousands. I have no more hundreds. I moved them all over. I have 0 tens and 0 ones. So I get 50 thousands is the same as, 50 hundreds is the same as 5,000, and the standard form is 5,000. My comma there. Okay, so if you're starting to notice, anytime I multiply by 10, I'm moving it over one place value, which just adds 0 to the end, right? So if I'm taking 5 times 10, 5 ones times 10, I'm going to get 50. I added a 0. If I take 50 times 10, I'm taking 50 times 1, which is 50, and I'm adding a 0, so it's 500. If I'm taking 500 times 10, I'm going to have my 500, and I'm going to add a 0. Okay, so multiplying by 10, just add a 0 at the end. My little trick for you. All right, we're going to quickly move to the back because it does have a little bit different of numbers here. So you can keep your whiteboard with the place value chart, and we're going to write our answers on the homework page, but you're going to work your work out on the whiteboard. So it's a little bit easier, less writing of place value charts. So I'm going to go ahead and erase this, and I'm going to move it down. I think I'm going to lose my place value chart and have to draw a new one, I think. Okay, so I'm going to move this over. Here we go. Yeah, and I lost my place value chart. So I'm going to have to write a new place value chart, so bear with me. If yours got erased, now's your time to write a new one. So I'm going to just quickly write mine like this. That's how we do it fast. Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, hundred thousands. Ooh, that's sloppy. I'm doing it quick, okay? So the next thing we're gonna do is we have 2 10s and 1 1 times 10. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and write my 2 10s, 1, 2. I'm gonna do that in your tens place, and then my 1 1. And now we're multiplying each of those by 10. So essentially right now I have 21, right? If I wrote these out, I have 21. So right now, basically what this is telling me to do is 21 times 10. So if you listen to the little tip I just gave you, think about what your answer could probably be. If I'm just gonna take this number and just add a 0 to the end. Let's think about that. 21 times 10. Predict what your answer is gonna be. All right, so now let's find out. I'm going to take that and I'm going to multiply my 2 10s and my 1 1 by 10. So that means each column gets that 10 there. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh man, so now all I have to do is move them over. So I'm going to start with my 1s. I'm going to trade in that one column of 10. I have 10 1s right now, and I can move them over to become my 10 1s now becomes 1 10. I moved it over, and now I'm done with this. Okay, there's nothing left in the 1s place now. I'm going to take this group of 10 and move it over to my hundreds place. This group of 10 and move it over to my hundreds place. Now, I cannot move over this 10, this little guy I moved over from here, because he doesn't have enough to do that. There's not enough here. I would have to have 10 to move it over to the hundreds place. So what I'm left with then is 2 hundreds. So in unit form on your page, you can write 2 hundreds and 1 10. So if I write this out, I should get 210, which again, if I multiply 21 times 10, I get 21 with a 0 on the end. So I just added a 0 to the end. Okay? All right, that will be the last problem we do for today because that took a little bit of time. So you're going to go ahead now and get on Zearn, and you're going to do your Zearn lessons. Same kind of stuff you're working on. Okay, so remember, if you have any questions today, you can get on that Google Meets and we can chat about it. Okay, good luck. Have a great day.